Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, your number one stop for all things in the world of golf. Watch and subscribe anywhere you get your favorite shows on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google, and more. Just search Get in the Hole. Get in the Hole is the official golf pod of the Underground Sports Philadelphia family of podcasts. Now let's get right into the action. Here's your hosts, Steve McAvoy and Ben Pirro.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
I'm not sure how many people listen to this show, but if you do, I'm sure everyone that listens saw my results from stage 1 of Q School, where I finished in last place by 5 shots. Now, for those of you that don't know, I had a high ankle sprain prior to going to Houston. And then I got either the flu or COVID while I was over there. And I had to continue to play.
Perfect storm.
Yeah, I was in tremendous form. So basically, what ended up happening was literally 7 days before I was supposed to leave for Houston, Saturday night, I was on my way to the gym. I'm going downstairs, and I literally... I either opened the door or about to open the door, and I'm like, oh, I forgot my weightlifting belt. So I go back up the stairs, and I'm like, oh, I don't need my weightlifting belt. So I go back down the stairs, and I was like on my phone at the same time, like in my hands. So like I wasn't quite paying full attention. I missed the next step with my foot, and then I hit the following step with my right foot, and my toe hit, my ankle went out and it cracked, and then I fell into the stairs. And I don't remember what happened after that. Like, obviously, it's not like I was unconscious, but like, when something like that happens, like you kind of like black out for a second.
Yeah.
I don't remember how I got back up the stairs. The only thing I remember was once I got on like the floor above the stairs, I couldn't move my ankle.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely couldn't move it. I had to move it manually with both hands. And it was immediately swollen. It was immediately bruising. And I started, because I don't know this or not. I was playing lights out golf.
Yeah, you're saying.
Like, I was taking everyone's money. Like, in all my money games, like, any professional athlete, even non-athletes, like even like non-professional athletes, like regardless of skill level, it's like no matter what happens, you always know the end result's going to be so good because you're just on a roll. And then I just immediately got so nervous. I was like, oh my God, like, oh my gosh, like what the fuck am I going to do? Like this is like, it could not have been worse.
At a worse point. Yeah.
Worse timing. And it's not like I was doing anything stupid. Like, come on. I was going down the stairs. I think the only thing that could have been worse is that I got hit by a car.
You ever see the videos? And actually, it's funny because Kay sent me a video recently. It was like when you miss that one step, and it's like basically it's like a person misses the step, has like a close up, and then it's like a dummy just like banging into the wall and like falling down, like the Peter Griffin video.
Yeah.
Similar kind of attitude.
Well, and so I I had ice in my fridge. I had just an old cooler. I filled it up with water and ice, and I just stuck my foot in there.
Oh God.
And I could barely walk. I was just limping around my apartment. Texted my old trainer from high school because he's also he's also a physical therapist. And I told him what happened. And so I went in to see him. He's like, I think it's a high ankle sprain. I forget. It's like syndesmosis, I think is the joint or the ligament. I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor, but he wanted me, he had me come in for STEM. If anybody knows what STEM is, STEM doesn't heal you. It just numbs the pain.
Yeah.
So it's like shocking whatever's hurting. And then it just it's like an electric painkiller. That's what it is. It's really like a waste of time. And so he was like, I want you to though, because your fibula fractured. And I was like, awesome. So obviously I'm not even like, I didn't even putt for like 2 days. And because I was like trying to stay off it as much as possible. I end up getting in. So basically he refers me to the Orlando Magic team doctor, who then refers me to a foot and ankle specialist. I get in there on Thursday. Meanwhile, I have to leave in 2 days to go to Houston. I haven't even hit balls yet. Okay? I think Thursday was the first day I hit wedges.
Oh God.
Okay? Just so we're clear, like this is what's going on. Literally, like I couldn't hit a bunker shot like 2 days after like treatment with him.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't hit a bunker shot after my first treatment session with this guy. And so I meet with this doctor. They take the x-ray. And she's like, the x-ray came back clean. But then she was like, if there was a tear, the tibia and the fibula would be pushed out, but they're not. But you still could also have like a partial tear. So I want you to have an MRI. And I'm like, okay, why the fuck I didn't say this, but I'm like, why the fuck did I just like wait, 3 days to get an x-ray and now I have to get an MRI? Like, and I leave in 2 days. Like, and let's be honest, if it's torn, it's not like I'm not going to Houston anyway. It's just a pain in the ass. And it's just like, because you're trying to fit everything in. You're trying to like prepare as much as you can. And now like there's doubt in your mind because it's like you go from playing unbelievable golf to like being like, holy shit, this could fuck up my whole year. Because this is really what it comes down to, right? This is like the biggest tournament I've ever played in up to this point.
Yeah.
And I get in that afternoon for an MRI. So practice is like non-existent at this point.
Yeah.
And I go in there, take forever, as usual for an MRI. And I don't know if they didn't leave me a message. Because I went to a different place for the MRI because they could get me in sooner and they were going to send the images over to this lady, to this surgeon. I never heard back.
Jesus Christ.
Now, I don't know if maybe I missed the call or maybe they just have the wrong number.
They were going to fax it to you.
What's that?
They were going to fax it over to you.
I don't know. I have the DVD, but I was like, I don't even know if it's legal to look at the DVD. Like, I would know what I'm looking at.
Fuck what I know.
Yeah, right?
Oh. Did I lose Ben again? Jesus. The internet today has been so terrible. It's like not even funny.
Oh, we're back.
No, there we go. God. Okay. Yeah, your Wi-Fi must be awful right now.
First of all, my Wi-Fi is always fine, you dipshit.
Look, dude, I've got multiple megabit speed. I'm cruising here.
Whatever. Anyway, so
if it happens again, go to your phone and do it.
All right.
It'll help.
So basically, I'm talking to this lady, and I'm just like, she tells me it's like this. It's like syndesmosis. It's a high ankle sprain, and all this stuff. And I looked at her. I said, she's like, I want you to get an MRI. And I was like, well. And she goes, there's always a well or a but. And I was like, I'm going to Houston for a tournament. And she looked at me like I was fucking crazy. And then I was like, and she's like, she was a college athlete. She played college soccer. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is just not making me feel good. And I looked at her and I said, if I play on it, can I make it any worse? And she goes, absolutely. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, this can't really get it, can it? Oh, how I was wrong. And so she looks at me, she's like, do you want a boot? And I said, do you recommend that I wear the boot? And she goes, yeah, I do. And I was like, she's like, wear it in the airport. I'm like, great. Now I have to go through security taking this freaking boot on and off. You know how heavy those boots are? They're so heavy. Like, I had to sit in an airplane, a smelly Southwest airplane. Anyway, I'm like, sure. She's like, offload it, you know, when you're not playing or practicing, whatever. I was like, cool. Oh. So get the x-ray. I end up not hearing back from anybody for whatever reason. I fly out Saturday morning, and there's this like girl behind me in line at security at Orlando International Airport, which is the worst airport I've ever been to. It's disgusting. They never have enough TSA people, so they always have like one or two of like the security checkpoint areas closed off. These people are fucking idiots. They really are. We can make this like a video at this point. Like, these people are so fucking stupid at this airport. I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was worried I was going to miss my 6:50 flight.
I cannot wait for the people to read this in like your tell-all memoir of like the worst week of my fucking life. And it started with I fell down the stairs.
Yeah. This is and so
stanza line quote fuck. Here we go.
So this stupid girl behind me is coughing up a storm, sneezing, no mask. Like, I don't wear a mask because I'm just like, no thanks. I don't have COVID, whatever. But she needed a mask, and she keeps like fucking bumping into me. And if she wasn't in high school and if her parents weren't with her, I would have turned around and told her to get the fuck out of me. Like, because number one, I'm such a germaphobe. Yeah. Number two, I hate kids. Number three, I'm already I need to get sick.
All right, so hold on. So get to Houston. You get sick by Wednesday.
Hold on. So here's the deal. Get to Houston Saturday, pick up my caddy Saturday evening. I ended up hitting balls at this random driving range, and I hit them well. It felt fine. I was taping up my foot. I was icing. Like, that was kind of like what I had to do.
Yeah.
Sunday, first practice round, really should not have played the whole thing. I played all 18. Really not a good idea. But I felt pressure to because I hadn't played since the injury happened. Literally, it had been like 8 days. Monday rolls around, second practice round. I was in agony the whole practice round, and it's taped up. And it's not like I'm icing. Like, I'm icing I iced 2 or 3 times before I even went to the course.
Yeah,
and like I'm sticking my foot in ice cold ice water. Yeah. There's oodles of ice in this cooler, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna play this week. I have no idea how I'm going to do this because I have to play 4 days. And by the way, I hated the golf course. That was the other thing. I mean, you want to talk about a golf course that doesn't fit my game at all? This was it. I mean, trees overhanging the right edge of the tee boxes, could barely hit any drivers, which is a huge part of my game. Mm-hmm. Just not a good course at all. Tuesday rolls around. I figure out how I have to wrap up my ankle. I mean, I wrapped it up pretty heavy. I was waking up at like 4 a.m. to ice my ankle twice before I would go to the course. I was doing all this stuff. Did not play well the first round. Just didn't have it. Wasn't really like an ankle thing. I didn't feel like it was. Obviously, yes, like it didn't feel great, but you know, whatever. Wednesday rolls around, and I'm hitting balls on the range, and I'm hitting these 2 irons, and I am hitting these things everywhere. Like, there is no resemblance to the last shot. And I'm in like agony on the range. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, I iced. I was like, damn, did I like like, did I like not take my Advil or something? Turns out I forgot to take Advil, which is kind of
Oh.
scary to think how like not taking 2 pills can really affect your body. They had ibuprofen at the course. I took it. I shot 69, birdied my last 3 holes. I was like, wow, okay. I'm wearing the boot on the way to the course, okay? And when I leave the course, which is embarrassing for me because then everybody sees this dude wearing a boot that's playing
Yeah.
a cute school. Morning, I had woken up with a sore throat, and I was like, this isn't good. Wake up Wednesday. I start like losing my voice, not feeling well, sweating, and it's Houston. There's like not that much of a breeze.
Yeah.
And I just played terrible on the back nine. I shot 78 total. Just didn't play well. I didn't feel great with my health or my physical health, I guess, both healths that were concerned. And then the last round, I felt even worse. I was just dripping sweat. And then there, I played terrible. I shot 82 in the final round. I had nothing left to give. I just was like, the last 3 holes, I just didn't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
There were some things that happened in the round that I won't get into that my fault. And it had nothing to do from a performance aspect, but
just like mental frustrations.
Things that led to mental frustrations that were not player forced. I'll tell you after the show. I don't say it on the show.
No, of course. Yeah.
But at that point I was like, I don't give a shit anymore. Like, I'm not going to qualify, obviously. Like, I'm probably going to finish in last place, whatever. I don't give a shit at this point.
Yeah.
So I just mailed it in, and then I flew back Saturday, and I was like sweating, dizzy, on the plane. Well, first I was sweating in the airport. I was dizzy on the plane, shivering on the plane.
Oh.
Got back here. I didn't even take my luggage out of my car. I didn't. I just came up here and I went to bed. I didn't even shower. I went straight to bed at 5 p.m. Okay. And from there, I woke up a couple times, and then I was like sweating a lot. And then I was like continued to like lose my voice as time progressed. And then last night I woke up, and you would have thought I wet the bed. That's how soaking wet my bed was.
Yeah.
Wet. Like, I don't have an appetite. I haven't worked out. I've lost like a ton of weight. I haven't done anything. Today was the first day I did anything, and I went to the store.
Yeah.
That was it. That's literally the most strenuous thing I've done. So I was at a doctor for my follow-up, and I was like, I have flu-like symptoms. I can't come in. So I had to push that back to Thursday. So I'd like to thank the girl that was behind me for getting me sick. So yeah, it was not fun. It was not really a fun trip. It was nice to see 2 of my old college teammates. That was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah. Look, I don't make excuses for myself when I don't play well.
Yeah, of course.
That's not what I do, because I hold myself to a very high standard, and I work very hard. And I'm very, very hard on myself too. Like, I was very hard on myself when I didn't play well, especially after the rounds. I spoke to my sister, and she said to me, she was like, first of all, because we spoke on the phone Saturday morning when I was at the Houston airport after when I was flying back to Orlando. She goes, I knew that you hurt yourself, and that's a very serious injury as it is. People might roll their eyes at a high ankle sprain. Challenge you to play 6 days in a row on a high ankle sprain.
Of course.
I challenge anybody to do it, and let me know how you do and how you feel. And she's like, Ben, you sound like shit. Like, you were also sick. you were not going to play well this week at all. Like, completely unreasonable for you to sit there and think, or anybody sit there, that you were actually going to play well, given the current circumstances that you had to deal with. She's like, I get it. Like, you're pissed off, and this really couldn't have happened at a worse possible time, because it couldn't have. And you definitely don't deserve it. This is like not your fault at all. It's just terrible timing. She's like, don't please, like, she's like, you have every right to be pissed off. Be pissed off for as long as it takes. Just know, like, this is really not your fault. That's base. I haven't done anything since I've been back, and now I'm sweating again, and I hate this. I'm so done with this whole thing. So here we are, 20 minutes in. That's my summary. I need a water.
You go right ahead. I'm going to start the show up, and we will get into everything. Don't you worry.
Of course, Underground Sports Philadelphia is brought to you by our awesome merch partners, PHI Apparel Company, with their unique and awesome designs for all, from Philly sports teams to Underground Sports Philadelphia exclusive merch. There's no doubt in our minds you'll stand out in the crowd. From Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, Union, and like I mentioned, Underground Sports Philadelphia, PHI Apparel Company's got you covered to stand out at Lincoln Financial Field, at the ballpark at Citizens Bank Park, at the Wells Fargo Center for Sixers, Flyers, Wings, at Subaru Park, at the bar, hanging out with your friends and family. No matter what it may be, PHI Apparel Company's got you covered with the best unique designs in the merch game for your favorite Philly sports fans. Most comfortable shirts, most comfortable hoodies in the game. Go to phiapparel.co so you can stand out in the crowd. And when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your merch orders. It's the most effective and direct way to support our podcasts. If you want to support us, rep our merch, get the word out there, rep PHI Apparel Company. And when you get your merch, tag us on the socials. We'll repost it so we know where you're rocking your PHI Apparel Company merch from. That's phiapparel.co, code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your merch order.
We are back. It's the Get in the Hole podcast. Stephen McAvoy, Ben Pirro, back after a quick 2-week hiatus. Had a couple of things going on. Of course, Ben out in Q school. I got stranded in Alabama. And here we are now after a second week of madness. Finally back in the booth. Excited to get things going. Let's just jump right in really fast with you. I want to just say, so I was following along on the first of all, the Q School website that they use is it's awful, because it showed you were through 6 holes for 3 hours, and I'm like, is no one following it? It was great first 6 holes, and then all of a sudden it went blank, and I was so hopeful after the second day. Now, obviously, we haven't spoken since we had left. So I was like, oh shit, he went 3 under on the second day. I'm like, he was pretty good. He's 3 or 4 back and easily make it up. And it's Thursday at work, and I'm like, oh shit, he's dipping, he's falling. So it is what it is. You're right. Your sister's totally right. It isn't your fault. Obviously, it just has had shitty circumstances. But I wanted to ask you this before we jump in, because obviously we've talked at lengths with your own battles with mental health and how you had a time in life where your bad golf play, whether or not it was your fault or not, very much hindered how you just kind of focused. Did you ever have that point during the week, or even now in the aftermath of fuck, now my year, not to be incredibly dramatic here, but to say, my year's ruined, I now have to look forward to next year. Is there any thought of not to go this far, but any doubt of do I even want to do this anymore?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, look, I'll never be as low
as during college or shortly after.
What's that?
We've talked about this. It was shortly after college, or was during college? It
was during college. I think there were a lot of other factors that contributed to it. I mean, those factors that would happen when I was in college. I always hope and I pray that I never go, that never happens. I hope that never happens to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, even my worst enemy, which, believe it or not, I don't have as many enemies as some people might think. But No, I would never wish that on my worst enemy. Would
Mhm.
I? And um, so I don't, I don't believe, because of the support system I have around me now, I don't believe that'll ever be a thing. Um, but it definitely is, like, it's pretty self-defeating, you
Yeah.
know. You put all this time and effort and money into what you want to do, and the things that you want to achieve, and the things that you honestly you believe you can achieve them. And for it to not happen and not work out in such a spectacularly depressing fashion, I think it just pretty much sums up my year pretty well. Like, I dealt with 3 different injuries, or really May. 3 different injuries since May. I broke my toe, which wasn't my fault. I had a weightlifting injury, which really wasn't my fault, it just happens. And that was in, like, August. And then this happened, which was easily the most severe of the 3,
Yeah.
especially with the timing. You know, that stuff, because there are times when I sit there and I'm just like, I've been doing this for such a long time. I know I'm only 25, but when you devoted your last 11 years to this game or to anything, and you want to see more progress, everybody wants to see more progress, regardless of if you're on the PJ Tour or not.
Yeah, of course.
When you don't see that progress, it can become demoralizing at times. You can feel really shitty about yourself. And it's, people are like, well, just don't make it personal. Well, it's hard not to make it personal because you really care about it.
Yeah.
Different than someone working a normal desk job. You have a shitty day at work, you have a shitty month. If you're in sales, you don't sell anything, you feel probably not good, because you don't have anything to show for your hard work, you feel like.
Yeah.
And, I was sitting there and I was just like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, because it hasn't been as fun, and it's gotten kind of stale, and it's stressful.
And it's tough.
It's hard. It's really hard. Like, people sit there and they're just like, oh, you play professional golf. Like, that's so cool. Like, oh my gosh, like, you live the life. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't live the life. I don't live the life at all. Like, people sit there and I want to look at them and just be like, my dad pays for my shit. Do you really think I want to be beholden to someone to, like, further my career? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how much pressure that is? That's a lot of pressure to deal with. And to have people's different opinions being thrown at you when you don't necessarily want them. No, you don't want that either. And then on top of that, if you're not playing well, oh my God, that's hard.
Yeah.
And, look, I've taken a lot of time to reflect over the last, what's today? Monday? Okay.
Monday.
So
Yeah.
really Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And because at first I was like, I want to quit, but I just don't know what I would do.
Mhm.
Because, like, I've never really had, like, a real job. Even when I was in college, I never shit. Golf I did. For the summers, when my teammates had internships, I was playing tournaments. I was traveling left and right to tournaments because I was like, this is what I want to do. And I was good enough to do it too, for sure. It's not like I was like some hack.
Yeah.
And then, when you have these results, it's just kind of like, and you have, like, all these pressures and stuff, and it's not as fun, and you're not excited to go to practice. You're not as excited for tournaments. You sit there and you're just like, well, why am I doing this? And, like, Saturday, I was sitting there, I was like, I really don't know if I want to continue to play, because I just don't know if I can take this anymore.
Yeah.
And through, like, a lot of, like, just, like, thought and just letting whatever emotions I have, just, like, kind of just, like, letting them come to me and just, like, letting them go. Just like, it's like a thought, whatever thoughts I have, I just acknowledge that the thought's there, and then I just let it go.
It's okay, Ben. It's okay. It's okay. It's better out than in, honestly. And you know what? Not to jump in on you, but people don't understand that. And I was just like looking at the schedule, and I don't know enough about golf until you had explained this to me. But the stress that it takes to go through months, like this stuff doesn't happen overnight. At the end of the day, and I give you my full support. I want you to keep doing this because I love you and I want you to be able to be the best person that you can be. And don't worry, you're going to get there. And look, at the end of the day, like, look, there are guys on the PGA Tour who didn't get there till they were 38 years old. Like, this shit happens. And I think you, of all people, because of what you've gone through and what you understand, like, you know that it is a challenge and it is a grind. And for the casual hack who doesn't understand that, you have to play the absolute best golf of your life for 5 weeks in a 3-month span. It's a very tall order to ask for. And then on top of that, be able to sustain on a year-long tour and not fall off. So I give you all the credit in the world because I can never do what you do. And again, everything will be okay. And we're here for you.
No, I appreciate that.
And it's okay to get emotional. Don't you worry. This is your forum to say what you need.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like all the shots that that I've ever hit, like from the time when I was 11 years old or 10 years old or whatever it was, and like all the tournaments I've played, and all the tournaments that I won, and just like the pure like joy of just like winning and like beating someone, And then on the flip side, it's like when you play so poorly or like really just shitty things happen to you when you really just don't deserve them, or they can't come at a worst possible time.
Exactly.
It's demoralizing at times. And like I realized, I was like, I do love this game. I really do. And I'm not a quitter. I've never quit at anything in my life. And I definitely don't want my last tournament ever to have the last 2 rounds be a 78 and an 82 where I finish in last place by 5 strokes.
Yeah.
Like that's just like not who I am. Like number one, it's not the player I am, obviously. You've watched me play.
Yeah.
Number two, that's not the competitor that I am. I'm as competitive as anybody you'll ever meet. I fucking hate losing. Like when I play against people, I personally take joy in just beating them to sleep. After when it's all said and done, you look at the score, it's just like, yeah, like I kicked your ass today. Like,
you hate losing more than you like winning.
100%.
That right there is a true competitor.
Yeah. And so like, yeah, I'm going to continue to play, and I want to get back out there. I really do. It just took like thought, and like it's been an emotional 3 days just because it was a long 2 weeks. I think a lot of that had to do with it as well. And I think when you also have an injury, there's a sense of doubt that can come into play as well. But yeah, like I'm going to continue to play. I decided that I'm going to continue to play. But we'll be changing some things up as far as like how I'm practicing and what my coaches and I are working on. So because I don't want to have another year of this where it's just like I don't like being the guy that because people look at me and they're like, oh my God, you're shit. Like I have this one of my buddies. He's an idiot. He goes, he got banned from Tinder, so it's like he's not the smartest dude.
I can only imagine what the fuck you have to do to get banned from a dating website.
But anyway,
Jesus Christ.
He goes, he looks and he's like, man, if I hit it as good as you, I wouldn't shoot him up 72. And I was like, shut the fuck up. But yeah, like it was, I hate
I hate being the guy that people look at and they're like, "Oh my God, you have so much talent. You hit the ball so well." And then I finish the round. It's like, "Oh yeah, I shot 73 today. Sick. Like, didn't make any money."
Yeah.
Like, I need to become a better golfer. I need to become a better player. My golf swing doesn't need to improve. Obviously, yes, like there are things I want to improve about it, but my golf swing is way better than a lot of the guys on tour, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
And I hate being the guy that's like just super talented but has nothing to show for it, or feels like he has nothing to show for it.
Yeah, of course.
And so I need to become better with on course, like managing my game on the course. I think that's one of the big areas. Like, look, not short-siding myself as much, not hitting it in so many fairway bunkers, taking advantage of par fives more often, just like not three putting, just like stupid mistakes that just kill your round. And that might not matter so much in amateur golf because it's not as competitive as it is in pro golf, but that stuff, three putting, penalties, short side, that stuff adds up in pro golf because the competition is that much stiffer. It is. And so those are things. And also just my mind, not beating myself up so much. I think this week I was beating myself up more than I normally do while I played, just because of just the mental fatigue that I was experiencing from the week prior and how stressful Q school already is. But I got to work. I have work to do. I really don't think I'm far off. I really don't. Now that I've reflected, and look, like the year is not over. I have time to play in other tournaments and just make the most out of a year that's been very frustrating. It really has been a frustrating year, but I know I'm capable of so much more as well. So, and I have so much more that I want to achieve as well as a golfer. But yeah, I'll tell you the story about real quick. I'll tell you about one day. All right, so I've known this guy. I'm not gonna say his name, but I've known this individual since I was in high school, and he might be one of the most fucked up people I've ever met. And most of my friends are. Like I'm insane.
Really? You're insane.
Oh, I'm crazy. I mean, you're kidding me? All my friends are insane.
You're a fucking psycho.
Oh, absolutely. I've known this guy forever. He's older than me. And so we're playing this tournament, and we're actually in a cart together because for most mini tour events, you get a cart. And so we decided to share a cart. And we're just like making, I think he had just hit a ball out of bounds on this hole, and so it's like kind of quiet and it's cold on this day, so I'm just like kind of like, oh my god, geez, like trying to like look in a conversation after he just hit 1 OB. And I was like, so you got a girlfriend? And he goes, no. And then silence, and he goes, I got banned from Tinder. And I was like, what? And I was like, wait, what? And he goes, yeah. I was like, what did you do? Like, he goes, I sent a picture of myself to a girl. And I was like, and right away I knew what he meant. And I was like, you sent an unsolicited dick pic to a girl on Tinder? And he goes, yeah. But dude, like, it was there was like such fucking bullshit. Like, dude, like she's an influencer, and I totally got screwed over. I was like, dude, I don't think you're just an idiot. You're just an absolute idiot. Like, he's actually one of 2 of my friends to get banned from Tinder. I have 2 friends. Imbecile.
It's an impressive group to be part of. No, it's funny you say that. So I'm on FaceTime this morning with my sister, who's freshman in college. She was like, "Yeah, I went to the bar. Went out to the bars, was drinking and everything." and like woke up this morning and like got a Snapchat from this guy who I've been talking to, unsolicited dick pic. Here's the problem.
Is that really? I can't believe that's actually like a thing. Like, I've never ever done that. So like,
no. she saw it and was like totally appalled. And she goes, "Wait, but the worst part was it was soft. Who sent the soft dick pic?
You know
Who does that,
dude? You want a friend of mine that I went to school with? He and his girlfriend at the time were doing long distance, and they had kind of like agreed to send each other content, back and forth. He had to look up how to send a dick pic because he had never done it before. Like, he literally Googled how to send a dick pic.
The only time I had ever had to figure that out, I watched Blue Mountain State, and there was a whole episode about sending them, and that was the rule of thumb that I always utilized. It's really funny though. A girl I knew also was doing long distance. I had been Snapchatting her. We were just like friends, and she must have like accidentally she sent out a Snapchat that was supposed to go to him, but like must have like gone to him and like a few other friends she accidentally clicked on, and it was like a tit pic, and I'm like, nice.
That's hilarious, dude.
All right, so the conversation has shifted heavily. We've cried, we've laughed, and now it's time to talk about the real stuff. So the official World Golf Rankings, as we segue into the fun stuff, right? A 2-week hiatus really kind of opens the door to a lot of news. We have a loaded show, but because we're 40 minutes in, I'm going to literally dummy it down to a couple of things, and we're just going to chat more about it next week. We started off, though, with the official World Golf Rankings officially denied ranking points. A bunch of LIV guys are now calling out the credibility of the source. Even folks in the golf media world are saying that the OWGR is basically uncredible based on the fact that it isn't taking into account certain parameters, and where there are some LIV guys who actually do stand out amongst those, at least over their last 24 rounds, that should be ranked much higher. Do you see a credibility flaw with them not allowing LIV to be a part of the rankings?
Boy, oh boy, I remember that one time I got roasted. I just got drilled by Phil took a grenade for us. I think that was the do you remember that? I think it was Phil took a grenade for us, that account.
Yeah.
And I just tried to annihilate me in the comments.
Yeah.
I hope that guy's doing well. We haven't heard from him. So I don't think this makes ranking points less credible. I think it makes it more credible because they don't meet some of the parameters necessary to obtain world ranking points. Like, they don't play 4-round tournaments. They play 3-round tournaments. I believe isn't that one of the requirements?
Yeah, it's it's 4 rounds, and then also the golf course also needs certain requirements that some of the courses on LIV don't necessarily meet in terms of like slope and rating.
Well, there you go. And so that's number one. That's my, well, really, that's what I think about it. I know that's very basic and like blunt, and I don't have a lot to say about it, but I said it over a year ago, and I stand by it that they don't deserve world ranking points. If they want world ranking points so bad, just go play on, isn't it like the Asian Tour that allows that?
Yeah.
Go play the Asian Tour. You'll get world ranking points that way.
Well,
Okay.
Also, the DP World Tour technically also does now sanction it too. A lot of the guys haven't necessarily gotten totally banned. I don't think that percent, like, you can debate it like all you want, but and the guy that I'm going to use to build my argument here is going to be Bryson DeChambeau, just because I think his record kind of speaks for itself. I think he's like still somewhere in the hundreds of the World Golf Rankings, but I've actually been doing some research into like other forms of rankings that I think are legitimate and credible. And like when you look at somebody like take Brooks Koepka, right, who's played significantly well, obviously played really well in the majors, and then you take someone like Bryson, who I think he finished like 60th at the Open, 20th at the U.S. Open, 4th at the PGA, and I think missed the cut for the umpteenth time at the Masters. But aside from that, has, I believe, 2 wins, won the team final for LIV. He finished, I think, top 20 in every single event and had, like, I think, multiple top 5s in LIV with those 2 wins. Like, you look at someone like that, and I'm looking at Data Golf because I think they actually do a really good job at utilizing the 54 holes rather than the 72 and being able to kind of map out. And with the logic, like, Cameron Smith would be ranked 16th in the world, and DeChambeau will be ranked 22nd in the world, while DeChambeau is ranked 142nd on the OWGR.
So they would have dipped anyway.
Yeah. They would have dipped. Like, Cameron Smith is 19th in the OWGR, which is also amazing to think about. He's been doing this now for a whole year and hasn't fallen off the map like everybody else has. He's still a top 20 golfer in the world, but he's 16th in Data Golf. I think the significance, though, is that, like, it also even takes guys on the PGA Tour, like, take a Russell Henley, for example, who's 25th in the OWGR, but according to Data Golf, he's ranked 12th because of his recent performances that he's played across all these tours. He has 4 straight top 15s. He has 2 non-top 20s dating back to the Charles Schwab in May. He's ranked 25th on the OWGR. He's ranked 12th in Data Golf. I'm not going to say the OWGR is incredible at all because at the end of the day, they're following their parameters, and that's totally fine on them. But I do think we have to start to kind of change the way we do look at things because of the way LIV is changing and how eventually this merger might happen. It might not happen. We don't really know. But for as long as LIV is in existence, particularly now we're getting into the area of these guys are never going to be able to qualify for majors unless they've won the major before or have those exemptions. We're getting to an area now where we might not see 18 LIV guys again at the Masters. We might see only 4 now. So I think with those things said, looking at somewhere like Data Golf, I think will actually help level the playing field a little bit. And look, you can argue the X's and O's, and you could be a LIV sympathizer, you can be a LIV hater, you can do whatever you want to do on either side and keep to your agenda. But if a guy is winning every single LIV event, I do think he does deserve some sort of a look. And I think a measurement like Data Golf may actually be something that's worthwhile because it also leverages your strokes gained total and calculates that into your total ups and downs based on how you play. So I think those things also do make sense. And they actually leverage from every tour. So like Rory McIlroy is ranked number 1 in the world according to Data Golf. He's got a DG index of plus 2.5, which is only a mark better than Victor Hovland and like a 0.2 better than Scottie Scheffler, who's ranked 3rd. But they're also weighing in all of Rory's events from the DP World Tour to his majors to the PGA Tour. They take like Colin Morikawa, for example, his DP World Tour, major championships, PGA Tour, even his stops in the Asian circuit. Tom Kim has his 4 other different tours that he's a part of. So I think those also make sense. You're weighing in literally everything to create your metrics. So I'm not going to call them a total incredibility, but I think they are there.
I do think, look, the Masters is done by it's technically invite only, right?
Yeah.
So, but like, your top.
But top 50 in the world make it automatically.
Exactly. Yeah. But still, it's like, I can't see a time where like Brooks, obviously like Brooks doesn't really have to worry about it because he's won 5 majors.
Yeah.
But, but like Bryson or like, I don't know, like Cam Smith, like they're going to end up being invited because they still can invite you, by it's up to the committee. The US Open, I've seen them, they've given special exemptions to players where I've just been kind of like, I get it. Like they gave, who was it? Ernie Els some special exemptions, I think maybe a couple years in a row. And I was just like, come on, like really? Like he's not going to make the cut. Like if they're going to do this for someone like Ernie Els, I think that they would do that for someone like, Cam Smith or I don't know, another who else? Maybe like Elite Westwood,
But again though, like the names that matter when you look at the grand scheme here, and again going through Data Golf, take somebody like I think Patrick Reed is actually probably the best measurement here. You could even use like a Taylor Gooch has been on an absolute roll on Live, but is ranked like 230th in the world. But take somebody like Patrick Reed for a hot second. He's technically ranked according to Data Golf. Let me find his name here. Where did I find him earlier? Jeez. He's ranked 37th according to Data Golf. He's ranked 67th in the world still. Joaquin Niemann's ranked 33rd in Data Golf, ranked 70th in the OWGR. Those are names I don't think you would get an exemption for Patrick Reed to make it into these events nowadays, particularly because he also didn't really play incredible golf in his back end time on the PGA Tour. He had, I think, 5 top 20s in his last, I think, not 60 events.
But
like
it helped.
Events.
But he won a Masters though, so that does help his case.
Well, yes, because if you won a Masters, you're automatically back. But like the U.S. Open, let's say, or like whatever major he hasn't won, those certain things I think play a factor here.
No. I know that, but what I'm saying is like, okay, like he has won a Masters, so maybe he might be more inclined to get like a special exemption to like a U.S. Open or an Open Championship or whatever. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
It's not like he's majorless like Joaquin Niemann is, right? Is Joaquin?
Yeah.
Niemann.
But again, Joaquin Niemann is 23 years old and is one of the top 50 golfers in the world. But he's losing points every single week because he's not playing on a tour like the PGA Tour. Like Mito Pereira, same thing. He's 86th in the world. He's ranked 46th on Data Golf. He's finished top 10 in the last 6 live events. Like there are guys who most certainly stand out as being the young, strong players that are not going to get any attention because they're stuck with live, and unless they change the way they view rankings or they change the way they offer exemptions and don't base it on the OWGR, these guys are going to kind of get screwed out. And unless you have won a major or you've won the tournament prior and you get automatic inclusion, I think there is going to be a time we're going to have to rethink the OWGR as the main basis for ranking players, because again, Taylor Gooch is ranked 240th in the world, but he's won like 4 live events. And even in a 48-man field, you're still beating out peak Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, Mito Pereira, Joaquin Niemann on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there is some sort of credit to that. A couple of small news things, not going to get into them this week. We could talk about it more later on. The TGL added 7 new players to their lineup, which includes Lucas Glover, Minwoo Lee, Cameron Young, Sahith Theegala, and Kevin Kisner. Officially brings the roster to 24. Fenway Sports, who is the ownership group for the Boston-based team, announced their team colors are going to be a green shade Boston Common Golf with the frog logo. I don't know if you saw it with in our text chain with KB. He had sent it in this morning. Interesting look. We're probably going to be seeing a lot more of these team-based team logos, whatever happens to be, in the near future. And then also Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala, and Klay Thompson also now have a ownership group within the San Francisco team. Another news source that's been getting a little bit weird. Jay Monahan had said that with the merger on hold and the government trying to figure things out, which according to some say they might never get around to actually figuring out whether or not the merger is constitutional or not. He said in a memo to the PGA Tour, they're looking for other investments outside of the PIF, and they actually just denied this morning, I believe, an investment opportunity with Endeavor, who is the managing company for the UFC and the WWE. And for the last 2 weeks, Tom Kim goes back-to-back at the Shriners, first time since Jim Furyk back in the 2010s, and Colin Morikawa won the Zozo Championship in Japan. Yes, Benny.
Jay Monahan's an idiot. Like, I can't believe, like, so in half of like in like less than 6 months, we have gone from we're not merging with Liv, we will never deal with Liv, to merging with Liv, then maybe it's not happening, and now we're looking for outside investments. They are so discombobulated and all over the place. Dude, he's not that bright.
No.
He's an idiot. Jay Monahan. I said Jay Monahan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay Monahan is an idiot.
I think the absolute worst part is that within the memo, they said the players basically said, oh, we're seeking other investment in case the merger doesn't work out and the government finds it unconstitutional. But on top of that, it's basically said that they're burning money at a record pace and basically confirmed the suspicion that I said when they first announced the merger. I'm like, they're going to go bankrupt. Whether it's trying to keep up with LIV or trying to just keep up with the growing monetary necessity for players to keep on getting paid and paid and paid more and more and more. And this is happening across all sports. Like, they're going to go bankrupt and they're going to lose a significant amount of money. And eventually they're going to have to turn to the AT&Ts and the Fortune 1000 companies of the world to try and get backing. And yet they're getting very liberal with denying a company like Endeavor, who is one of the biggest sports agencies in the world. They operate the UFC, the WWE. They work with the LPGA Tour. Like, something here doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's, to me, they will never have, if they don't merge with LIV, they'll never have the money that LIV has.
No, absolutely not.
I don't care who they go to. Like, if they go to like a Verizon or like an Apple or
IBM or whatever, yeah,
give me a break. Like, like it'll be cute, but like, dude, I just, he is the most incompetent leader. Like, I love how people sit there and they just like shit all over like Rob Manfred or Roger Goodell. And like, I get it. Like, those guys have like fucked up in some different areas in their respective sports. Like, I get it. But like, Jay doesn't do anything right.
Yeah,
I really and he doesn't answer questions. Like, I don't think the one time he was really supposed to answer questions in front of Congress,
and he didn't show up because he was sick.
And like, it's just like, I get it. Like, those other commissioners that I mentioned, like, they've screwed up in different ways for sure. But this guy just doesn't know what he's doing. He's an idiot.
Yeah, it's not a good look by any means for somebody who's supposed to be leading this tour, and obviously what has gone back and forth, and now they're trying to find new alternatives. I think the article that I had read from ESPN, I think it was like they had mentioned that, like, with the government shutdown pending and a bunch of other government issues going on, including the war in the Middle East, which is a whole other issue that we'll talk about more next week. I don't want to get into it this week as we're already an hour in. But there are so many different things on the government's agenda. I don't think they give a shit. They give a shit enough to talk about antitrust and a merger with the PIF. But like, at the end of the day, like, this is also a issue of America's always kind of been in the pockets of Saudi Arabia. Like, they've always kind of been in bed. At the end of the day, we get all of our oil from the Middle East. So with all of these different things going on, and now again on top of that, to bring the war idea in, the Saudi Arabian government has backed Hamas amongst all these different things. And again, I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to talk about this, but that's a tie-up within the grand scheme here. And you want to talk about how something is affecting the golf world. The LPGA, the DP World Tour, LIV, and the PGA Tour all have ties to Saudi Arabia, whether you like it or not. So all of these issues, on top of the government having to get involved, I don't think they're going to ever be able to get around to the actual business side of things, at least for another year. And at some point, this agreement, I think the agreement falls out by the end of the year with the opportunity for them to extend it. So unless they extend it for a long enough time that the government can actually get around to it, I just don't think it's going to ever happen, at which case it'll cease to exist and LIV will always just be LIV. And they're probably going to try and we'll always just filibuster, which is the problem. So however you shake it, there's some scenario going on where this merger is going to be pending for a long, long, long time.
I should be running the show.
I think Tiger Woods should be running the show, but that's to be seen.
I have a finance degree from Xavier University. I should be running the show. Okay.
the golf career doesn't work out, you can always be the CFO of the PGA Tour.
Or just run for president of the United States, one of the two.
Hey, you know what? At this point, I don't even know who. At this point, Kanye could still probably get it. I really don't know yet.
Don't say that.
Short break. On the other side, we're talking Cabo this week at, I don't even know what golf course it is. I know it's a Tiger Woods course. We're going to talk beer money. Welcome back into the program, folks. Again, the whole podcast, Steve McAvoy and Ben Pirro. If you missed our names from earlier, we had a nice lengthy discussion. Didn't get to do a big intro at all, but we are back. Let's get right into things. Cabo St. Lucas plays host El Cardinal, the first Tiger Woods design golf course to play on the PGA Tour this week in Cabo St. Lucas, Mexico. Give you a small idea of the golf course since we have never been here before. Opened in 2014, 7,400 yards, par 72. Very much resort style. In the past, the WWT Technology Championship has been played in El Camaleon, which of course at Mayakoba now is a live location, so that's been moved. Weather this week: hot, dry, windy, gusts. Very much your atypical resort style golf course, but we'll have some wind in the factoring. A couple of things to look out for in terms of the actual course play itself. Stroke gain approach, of course, a massively important stat this week. Driving distance is going to be huge. A long course, but a wide course. At the end of the day, it is made for those vacationing for a week on the resort style, so it's going to be really important. Ben, you could talk more to this, and I know we've talked about it a lot in the past. Strokes gained total, the grass this week across the board, past Palom grass. So we're talking a lot of courses that you actually see down here. You utilize that at the CIMB Classic, Corrales, Punta Cana, the Puerto Rico. Those events all use past Palom grass. Of course, you could talk more to what that actually means. And then, of course, just in terms of the scoring conditions, scoring early, scoring often, and opportunities gained are going to be a huge key this week in terms of winning at El Cardinal. Ben, with that being said, is there anybody you're eyeing this week before we get into our beer money plays?
Okay, I had a couple written down. Give me a minute.
Go right ahead.
Okay, just a couple. I think Matt Kuchar could be an interesting play this week for those gamblers out there. Emiliano Grillo, another interesting name to throw out there. Lucas Glover had a very, very good finish to the year last year. Those are a couple guys I'll throw out there. I'm not going to spoil anything. So,
I mean, look, this week certainly not the strongest field in comparison to what we saw at the Zozo a couple weeks ago, but Cameron Young, Ludwig Aberg, both in the field this week, of course, both looking for their first PGA Tour victory, so might very well come at an event such as this. I'm all in with you on Emiliano Grillo. You might be hearing from him in my beer money picks. Has played some fantastic golf towards the back end of the year. I think he's got a second, a third, and like a sixth place finish when playing down here in the Punta Cana, Mexico area. And I think he had 3 straight top 10s at El Camaleon in like 16, 17, and 20. So most certainly a strong player this week. And on top of that, his best golf has come in those resort style courses. I love Sam Ryder this week. Ashe Batias stands out. You want to talk guys who hit the ball a country mile. Cameron Champ looks really good this week after a strong play at the Sanderson Farm as well as at the Shriners. So those are some of the guys that I'm looking at this week. With that being said, we jump right in to our beer money plays brought to you by our friends at Kenwood Beer. Follow them along at the Wells Fargo Center now with the Sixers and the Flyers in full swing. The Phillies may have not gotten it done, but we'll see if Joel Embiid can do it before he becomes a New York Knick. Kenwood Beer, find them at kenwoodbeer.com. Use the Kenny Tracker. You hold on, you're waving your eyes. James Dolan is all over a Joel Embiid trade right now. So,
James Dolan is an idiot. Joel's never.
Is he as big an idiot though as Jay Monahan?
He would never. That's a tough one.
I don't know. Look. If you trade quickly Randall, Fournier, and like 3 draft picks for Embiid, you match him up with Jalen Brunson. I think it's a great team right there.
Philly would never take that.
They probably ask for Grimes too, or RJ Barrett as well. So
They would ask for RJ Barrett. I'm not even a Knicks fan. I'm a Nets fan, and it's going to be a long year.
yeah.
So whatever.
But look, if the Knicks can get anybody, if it's Joel Embiid, I'll be happy. We start with the top 20, Ben, to you.
Okay, let me pull up my notes right here. Top 20. I'm going to go with, where is it? Bear with me.
I'm bearing.
Sam Ryder, top 20. That's what it was. I pick him for something every single week. Top 20. Solid player. Finish. Sam Ryder.
I think we picked Sam Ryder, both of us, for I think a top 10 each of the last like 3 weeks. So
Yeah, all right.
I do like, where is Sam Ryder in terms of the odds? Let me see for a top 20. He's plus 280 for a top 20. Actually, he has better odds than who I was going to take. I'll join you on Sam Ryder for a top 20. I even push him to a top 10, but I think there's just more value towards the middle. So I'll take Ryder with you. We got for top 10.
Well, you kind of froze there. What'd you say?
I'm joining you with Sam Ryder. Who are you taking for top 10?
I'm going to go with Cameron Champ for a top 10. Resort style course. He's a longer hitter, and those fairways are generally a little bit more forgiving off the tee. So driving for someone like him, the further you hit it, the more offline it tends to go when you miss it. So those fairways won't be as penalizing. I'll go with Cameron Champ for a top 10.
I'm a big fan of Davis Thompson this week. He's listed at plus 450 on the odds board. I think he's actually very close with he's tied with Cam Champ as well. So both at plus 450. He's come close to winning already this year. He almost beat John Rahm of the American Express in January. He's got a high ceiling on courses that are like this. One of the better guys in driving distance and opportunities gained coming into this week, and he seems to play really well in those resort style courses down in Central America. So I like Davis Thompson this week. Top 5. Ben, did I lose you? There you are.
We're back.
Hi. Top 5.
Okay. Who was your top 10?
Davis Thompson.
Got it. Okay, cool. Top 5. Akshay Bhatia. I've been very bullish on him having a fantastic 2024 season. I know the season doesn't officially start until Hawaii, but nonetheless, perfect time to really get in the swing of things, which is in the fall swing. So, Akshay Bhatia, top 5.
Yeah, Akshay loves the Pass Palom golf courses. I'm not going to pick him here. I'm taking Emiliano Grillo for a top 5 at plus 600. Like I said, best plays on resort style golf courses. He's from South America. He grew up playing in those areas anyhow. In terms of the wide fairway resort style, loves to perform here. Has top 20s each of the last 3 years at the Mexico Open, at the Butterfield Bermuda, and at El Camaleon. I love him this week for top 5. Who's your gimme?
Okay, my gimme, it's a little bit of an interesting one. I'm going to go with Sahith Theegala for a top 15 finish. He has the 3rd best odds in this week, so I feel like that's top 15 for a guy that has the 3rd best to win the tournament. I feel like that's a pretty strong gimme pick, but has a little bit of risk attached to it as well.
Yeah, he actually is even money for a top 15. So I'm a fan of that one. I'm actually going to give you a 3-leg parlay that I'm really kind of eyeing this week. That includes our friend Akshay. I'm going to take the 2 top odds guys, Ludwig Aberg and Cameron Young, and I'm going to mix in Akshay all to finish top 30 this week. That'll pay out 7-1. So a nice $10 play, net to $70. At the end of the day, I think Aberg and Young will both most certainly be live to win. I've got Akshay really high up here too. Loves the Pass Palom golf. Would also consider taking all of them for the outright. I think Ludwig's plus 900, Young's 11-1, and I think Akshay's 35-1. I'm bullish on Akshay with you, but I think all 3 parlay together will be a nice big payout. Who's your winner this week?
Why does it say the Shriners?
Damn.
That's okay.
It's okay.
We have some rust to work off.
It's okay. We're working it out.
Okay, my winner. Sorry. I'm looking at BetMGM and no free ads, but the guys with the highest, the top two guys with the best chances to win are both guys that haven't won before. And so maybe this is a coin flip. And I'm always wary to hop on the hype train, even though I've been on the Akshay Bhatia hype train for a long time. That being said, I'm going to go with Cameron Young to get it done this week. He has 1,400 odds to win. So I'm going to go with Cameron Young to get it done this week.
It really is kind of a toss-up because I'm with you on the two top odds getters here. If I'm being totally frank, some other guys who I do think stand out in terms of a winnability standpoint, JJ Spawn looks live. Keith Mitchell at 40-1 looks live. Steven Yeager, quietly underrated player, is fourth best on the odds board. But I'm going to take the opposite of you. I've been betting him to win for the last 2 weeks, and I'm waiting for it to happen. Ludwig Aberg going into this week is top five in the field in easy scoring conditions, which basically means that courses that are birdie fest able, really easy putting surfaces, really easy approach game, and long and wide fairways. He ranks number 1 in the field, only next to Doug Gim at a plus 39 strokes gained over his last 24 rounds of golf. He's also fourth in total strokes gained in general at 18 strokes, 18 and a half strokes gained, particularly birdie opportunities within 15 feet. He leads the pack in conversion rate and opportunity rate. So I think those really do matter a lot here. I'll take Ludwig Aberg in the putting contest, is top 5 in the field this week in strokes gained putting. So I will go anti-Cameron Young. I will go pro Ludwig Aberg for the 3rd week in a row. Waiting for the win. I'm waining for the win.
Eventually you get it. I mean, I think I was right. Wasn't I also right about Tom Kim repeating runners? Yeah. I'm a genius.
We have 2 wins early this year, which is actually pretty impressive.
That's good. That's not that
false
bad.
swing.
It's not that bad. Okay.
I think we had, in the history of the show, I've gotten 4 events correct. KB's got 2, including the Ricky win at the Rocket Mortgage. I think you have 2.
I do. I have that many.
I think you've gotten 1 more right, and we've got 2 in the fall swing alone. So 2 in the fall swing is pretty damn good. I'm really excited to see what we can pull together now. And at the end of the day, look, when we're each betting the top guys in the odds board, I think someone's got to give and someone's got to win. So I think we got a pretty good shot at making it 3 in the fall swing. But any final thoughts for you at the road?
Not really. Happy to be back. Yeah. Just getting back to full health. And who knows? Maybe at some point. Oh, I'm moving. I don't know if I ever told.
Where are you going?
I know. I think I told you.
No.
Oh, I didn't? I'm moving to West Palm. So that's been kind of in the works. I'm going to go down there in a couple weeks and look at some apartments. And, it was actually really funny. I was playing with this guy in the pre-qualifying stage of Q school. So we met on the range like 2 days prior because he was like, do you have a wrench I could borrow for his driver? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we started talking. I was like, yeah, I live in Lake Mary, but I'm moving to West Palm, whatever. And so we ended up getting paired together in the final round. And early in the final round, and he's older than I am. I think he's like in his 30s. He looks at me and he goes, so you're moving to West Palm? I was like, yeah. He's like, you married? No. Got a girlfriend? No. Boy, you're gonna love it down there.
Just please don't be like Matt Harvey and go too hard on training days.
Matt Harvey, did he ever go too hard on training days?
Matt Harvey during spring training. I don't know if you remember this. Now, like West Palm isn't too far from Port St. Lucie.
No.
So Matt Harvey used to go out clubbing in West Palm during spring training, and he missed the scheduled start because he had a quote unquote illness. And everybody, like the paparazzi, found him like at a nightclub. They saw him in the morning. He was like significantly hungover, and they saw some girl leaving his room. They thought it was a prostitute, and he got like an STD. But it turns out he had like a significantly bad UTI from just basically like fucking all fucking week and partying and going just absolutely balls to the wall. So please, for the love of God, don't be like Matt Harvey and miss a tee time because you're passing a UTI.
Okay, first of all, I'm not that stupid. Second of all, I would never go out and party. When it's the week of a tournament, 2 weeks for the tournament, I'm not even touching alcohol. Like Matt Harvey and I could not be.
All right. Better scenario. Don't be like Yoenis Cespedes and show up to a round on a horse.
I mean, I already hurt my ankle, so we have that coming.
It really can't get much worse. My final thought, I want to just say a couple of things. One, I'm proud of you, despite the loss. I am 6-year-olds. I want to hopefully see you for the holidays when it rolls around. I know we're getting up to the Thanksgiving and Christmas season. If you're going to be around, I would love to
see you. Oh.
Yeah, I know. Fucking pity me, right? Hopefully I get to see you, but I want to just assure you again of my full support, and everyone here is rooting for you. We're all proud of you. And Max Scherzer got hurt during his start today.
No, he didn't.
Max Scherzer got hurt. He's out for the game.
Happy about that? Don't be happy.
I'm not happy about it, but I'm just saying, like, I was so pissed off that they dumped off Verlander and Scherzer, and they wound up getting all the way to the championship series. And Scherzer put in a masterclass performance in fucking game 5. And I'm like, he couldn't do squat for the Mets for 2 whole freaking years.
Okay, look. To be fair, he was very good his first year and then dipped at the end of the year. This year, he pitched like shit. And then he went to Texas and pitched like shit at times again. Like, he really didn't pitch that well at all.
He had a 3 ERA in Texas.
Yeah, but he got
12 starts.
He got hammered at times. Like, I think he's over the hill. I don't think he's that good.
I mean, yeah, he's 42 years old, and so is JV. But anyways, Max Scherzer got hurt. Wishing him the best health, but also I'm all over the Diamondbacks train for the playoffs. Even though they beat the Phillies, I had said I was a Phillies fan for a couple of weeks because they were a fun watch. I'm all over the D-backs though. There's something about them that I love that just screams great underdog story. With that being said, folks, that's all the time we have for today. That's been Pirro. I'm Steve McAvoy. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the golf, and we'll chat again soon. Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time. And remember, get in the hole!